I remember that night like it happened yesterday. I was sitting in my warm, inviting living room with a few of my closest friends. The kind of friends who seemed to know almost everything about me. Or at least I thought they did. We were laughing, swapping stories, and sipping wine. The kind of evening where the world outside disappears for a little while. I had been joking around, teasing my friends, trying to get a few laughs. I never imagined that what I said would turn into the most humiliating, shocking, and life-altering night of my life. We were talking about relationships, and I began bragging, or at least I thought I was joking, about my past. I leaned back on the couch, smiled, and said, "Honestly, my ex was a perfect 10 in bed. My husband, well, let's just say he's more like a 3. I said it with that playful grin, expecting my friends to laugh and move on. They did laugh, teasing me back, joking, and I felt clever, sharp, funny. But then the mood shifted. I didn't even notice him at first. My husband had come home early from work, which wasn't unusual, but he had quietly stepped inside without saying a word. He stood in the doorway, arms crossed. The look on his face froze my heart. It wasn't anger yet. It was worse, shock, disbelief, and something sharp lurking behind his eyes. I froze mid-laugh, suddenly aware that I had said the absolute worst thing in front of the one person it mattered most. For a moment, I tried to laugh it off. "Babe, it's just a joke. Don't take it seriously," I said, forcing a smile, hoping to ease the tension. My friends glanced between us nervously, sensing the playful mood had vanished. But he didn't move. He didn't respond. Silence hung in the air, heavy with every passing second. And then he spoke quietly, almost coldly, but with a weight that squeezed my chest. "You're done here. Pack your things." I stared at him, stunned. "What? Are you serious?" I asked, my voice trembling. My friend's eyes mirrored my shock. I thought maybe he was just angry and needed time, but the look in his eyes told me it was final. I had crossed a line I didn't even know existed. There was no turning back. I scrambled to gather my things, my mind racing faster than I could process. How could a simple joke, something I thought was harmless, destroy everything in an instant? The trust, the love, the years of bond, all hanging by a thread because of one careless moment. As I packed, my own words echoed in my head, mocking me, "Perfect 10, a 3. How could I have been so stupid?" Outside, the night air hit me like a slap. I didn't know where to go. I wandered the streets, phone buzzing with messages I ignored. The shame was suffocating. I replayed the scene over and over, imagining what my husband felt, humiliated, betrayed, mocked by the person who was supposed to love him. My friends tried to call, but I couldn't answer. I wasn't ready, and I wasn't sure I even could. That night, I realized something profound. Humor can be dangerous when aimed at those you love most. What seems like harmless teasing can feel like a knife in the wrong hands. My husband didn't just hear a joke. He heard judgment, comparison, a truth that should never exist between us. And he acted not just in anger, but to reclaim his dignity. It took days before I could speak to him. Days of anxiety, reflection, and regret. I had to confront not only his feelings but mine. Why did I think it was acceptable to mock him in front of others? Why put my ego above the person I promised to love unconditionally? The realization hit like a storm. I had betrayed him emotionally in a way words couldn't easily fix. Eventually, we talked. The conversation was raw, painful, and honest. He explained how hurt and humiliated he felt, how my words lingered long after I had laughed them off. I apologized, every word sincere, but he made clear that trust, once broken like that, isn't easily rebuilt. He didn't yell. He explained the depth of the wound I had caused. Looking back, I see that night as a turning point. It taught me the power of words, the fragility of trust, and the weight of careless humor. I never meant to hurt anyone, least of all him. But intentions don't erase impact. From that day forward, I became hyper-aware of how I spoke, about him, about others, about what I once thought were trivial jokes. Life didn't immediately go back to normal. There were awkward silences, hesitant interactions, moments where one wrong word could undo progress. But slowly, we rebuilt some connection. It wasn't the playful dynamic we once had, but it was honest. cautious but real. Now I tell this story to remind myself, and others, that words can wound deeper than we ever imagine.